A Central Florida man shoots a would-be burglar in his own home, the latest in a live report. Plus, does being fed up with crime mean you need to fight back with firepower? Flames engulf a Brevard County home. Find out how an entire family made it out alive. Plus, if you use payphones, you can't afford to miss our 6 on Your Side report coming up next.
Live and local from the WCPX newsroom, this is 6 News.
A Central Florida neighborhood, the site of 15 recent break-ins. Last night, a resident fought back and took aim against an intruder.
Mary Hamill.
And I'm David Whitman. When an intruder entered the Dover Village apartment in Orlando last night, the resident inside was armed and ready. He shot and killed him. In tonight's team coverage, the very latest on the investigation. We'll also look at some of the ways people... outside Orlando Police Headquarters. Sean?
David, police say they still have no idea who this suspect is, but they are hoping to identify him soon by using his fingerprints. Now, they tell me this is not the first time someone has broken into these apartments while people were inside. But in this case, the resident was a former... someone breaking into his kitchen window. He immediately grabbed his gun and went after the suspect.
He was confronted by Mr. Dupuy, who forced him into a chair, told him to remain there while they called 911.
Dupuy's girlfriend tried to keep the operator on the line until police arrived, but they didn't get there soon enough. That's because the suspect suddenly jumped out of the chair. There's a young child in the apartment, please. At first, the operator thought the suspect had a gun. Then the girlfriend tearfully explained it was Dupuy.
Ma'am, please help me. Where is the suspect running? He was running in the bedroom with the baby, and he shot him. Please. Shot him? Yes. Your brother shot him? Yes.
Police say Dupuy fired 3 times, hitting the suspect once in the mouth. He died instantly. Police also say the man had no ID, but they did find checks and credit cards on him that they say were stolen from other apartments in the complex.
Since the 17th, we had 5 other cases right there in Folkestone Apartments, all nighttime burglaries, which is very unusual. So he's a prime suspect in all 5 of those cases, as well as, of course, the one he was in last night.
Now, police say they have fingerprints from 3 of those burglaries, so of course they'll be checking to see if they all match. Now, the couple's 2-week-old daughter and 11-year-old son were not hurt, and Mr. Dupuy, even though he was shaken, as you can imagine, his girlfriend tells me he went to work today, and she also says they are both doing just fine. Reporting live in Orlando, I'm Sean Hightower. Now back to you in the studio.
Sean, thank you. Concerns about crime have pushed people in Central Florida to watch out for each other and look for other ways to fight back. Some people who live in fear are buying guns. Managers at Dover Village, where the man was shot last night, are publicizing crime concerns instead of trying to hide them. Ed Trotsky continues our team coverage.
Fed up with crime, Americans are fighting back with firepower.
I think we have a right to protect our own property.
Dover Village resident Don Dupler owns a gun. Police suspect the home invader killed last night broke into Dupler's apartment minutes earlier.
I congratulate the guy that shot him.
You don't have any sympathy for the suspect?
None whatsoever. If there's more of them out there and they come to my place and I'm home, it'll be the same results.
Local police departments say the decision whether or not to buy a gun is up to the individual. But they stress the most lethal weapon of all is a gun you don't know how to use. Instructor Ron Williams says half the gun owners he sees at the East Orange gun range are not properly trained.
A lot of men, they have a preconceived idea that, you know, I'm macho man and I can use any firearm that I want because I'm a man and I know what I'm doing. But
that can be dangerous.
Yeah, it is.
Neighborhoods are fighting back in other ways. Dover Village organized a neighborhood watch earlier this year. Following recent burglaries in the complex, managers sent out bulletins warning residents to lock their windows and report suspicious activity.
We want to make sure that our community stays safe. And we don't feel there's a reason to hide that. They have a right to know.
And like last night, a right to shoot, to defend your family. Ed Trotsky, Channel 6 News.
Every time there's a shooting like this, it's a good idea to take a look at the law. When can you legally shoot and when can't you? If someone is in your yard or outside your home or apartment, even if they appear threatening, you cannot shoot. That person is merely a trespasser. You need to call 911. Once an intruder is inside your home, you can legally shoot to defend yourself. That applies if the intruder is armed or not. If an intruder is fleeing from your home, even after committing a crime, you cannot shoot. Only police can shoot to stop a fleeing felon.
He had been convicted of child molestation in New Hampshire. Now he faces the same charges here in Orlando. This time, however, 24-year-old Michael Caplet of Orlando reportedly picked a 14-year-old emotionally handicapped boy as his victim. Caplet lived in the same trailer park as the boy's parents. Caplet is charged with 6 counts of sexual battery on a child, which include performing sadomasochistic homosexual acts on the boy. Caplet is being held pending an arraignment tomorrow morning.
A Brevard County family escaped this morning as flames were racing through their home. This home video was shot by a 5-year-old neighbor girl from her bunk bed across the street. The flames and smoke were so thick it's amazing anybody got out alive, especially a 10-year-old boy who lost his way because of all the smoke.
I didn't know what to do. Whenever I was in the kitchen, it was all black around me, and I didn't really know what to do.
That little boy just turned 10 on Sunday, and his brand new bicycle, as you can see, is a complete loss. The whole family is just thankful everybody made it out alive. They have other relatives in Brevard County who are helping them, and the Red Cross. Police say they've determined an electrical short in a light fixture caused the police gun range in Winter Park to go up in flames yesterday, and it went up fast. There were no sprinklers inside. Damage estimates reach as high as $400,000. Another building where thousands of bullets are stored was untouched. Bullets that exploded yesterday probably were the ones officers stored in their lockers. Nobody was hurt.
A police chase today through the streets of Orange County. It all started after deputies were staking out a stolen car in a West Orange County housing project. The chase ended in Orlando, but not before a deputy's car plowed into the driver's door of a car which was stolen last night from a Lee Road motel. 3 young men bailed out, and Orlando police captured one of them, 15-year-old Maurice Green, but not before he allegedly pulled a gun.
I was chasing the driver, but when I saw this occupant pull a gun out, my main concern was him, so I began to chase him.
Did you pull out your gun?
Yes, I did.
Did you think about firing?
If the time came to that, I needed to, yes, I would have.
The gun was recovered near where Green was apprehended. He is charged with carrying a concealed weapon, with auto theft, and with resisting arrest. The 2 other suspects remain at large.
If you're traveling this weekend, the people whose job it is to keep us safe will be watching very closely. The official holiday began 5 minutes ago. The Marine Patrol will be monitoring state waterways this Memorial Day weekend to keep boaters safe. And later tonight, you'll see Florida Highway Patrol troopers everywhere, keeping a close eye on traffic. And to highlight safety this weekend, the National Safety Council is urging all drivers to keep their headlights on all the time to make cars more visible on the road. Well, these aren't bike patrol officers, they're Orange County paramedics. And beginning today, 2 of them will patrol the West Orange Bike Trail every weekend until 6 at night. The paramedics also will pedal up and down International Drive. They'll be able to provide emergency medical assistance quickly until an ambulance arrives.
On to the latest news about the Magic now. About 1,000 Magic playoff tickets went up for grabs at the arena this morning.
All right, let's try to get back in line now, according to your number on your ticket, please.
And as always, the Magic fanatics were there in force, clutching the tickets that they would dictate their place in line to buy the real things. The system cuts out the camp out, but there is still a wait, and handy Candy Ramsey found just the way to fill the time.
Figured I finished it while I had a couple hours to sit here, so.
You've been lucky enough to get a ticket?
It's getting there, she says. These tickets were for the next Magic home game. That's Game 5 of the Indiana series, if needed. Or it could be the first game of the championship series.
Well, let's see what we...
Dare we think that? Every time the Magic win another game, the possibility of a trophy and rings gets ever closer. Well, most folks at the Magic front office don't want to discuss such things. Craig Eicher tries to answer the question, what if? He joins us live now from downtown Orlando. Craig?
And David, we're at City Hall. No, check that. It's actually officially been renamed Magic Hall. And you know how when you really want something so bad, you don't even want to mention it to anybody? Sort of how the Magic is thinking about, you know, the big game. Well, we decided to ask, what will happen if? Take a look at what you'll see in tomorrow's newspaper, an ad featuring a quote with attitude from Magic owner Rich DeVos. And it's on a new T-shirt just hitting the stands. But the owner may be the only member of the Magic team ready to predict an all-the-way victory. With each win, Magic players leave their fans wondering why they aren't celebrating. Of course, the team knows if you celebrate during the playoffs, you're acting like the job is over, and that could mean losing the next game.
10 mini balls at each place and we can raffle those off.
Same goes for the Magic marketing and promotion staff, where the next game is the big game. Here, they feed Magic Mania. But during the uncertain playoff season, they can afford to plan only 2 days ahead. And no one's even mentioning, much less even planning on what they'll do if they win the big game.
Well, I don't know if it's maybe some superstition or we don't want to jinx it, but really right now in the reactive mode that we are, we can't plan because we don't know if we're going to be up 2-0, if we're going to be down 2-0.
With each playoff win, they need more megaphones. Go Magic! More Magic stickers, more playoff banners, more spirit signs. This last-minute planning has everybody on the edge. The Magic's official printer knows that when the Magic win, expect a phone call and some overtime. When did they tell you about this particular run?
This job came in, I believe, this morning. And, of course, they need it this afternoon, which, you know, again, I mean, after seeing that game last night, everyone's fired up and let's get it done.
You know, they've printed 40,000 of these Magic, We Believe in Magic signs. It's incredible. They're all over the town. If the Magic win on Monday, there may be another bus caravan to the airport. We'll let you know. And if they win the big game, well, nobody's even thinking about that right now. Reporting live from City Hall, I'm Craig Eicher. Back to you.
All right, Craig, thanks a lot. And our Magic playoff coverage will continue a little later on in this newscast. We'll take you live to Indiana as Orlando prepares for Game 3 of the series with the Pacers. That's coming up in sports.
Very exciting. Magic Hall downtown now. Calling friends in Florida could get confusing soon. Details ahead on a change of code. Find out why many payphones in Central Florida have stopped ringing at your expense. Beachgoers in Brevard County have one last weekend to bear all without breaking the law. Plus, the Central Florida hospital tries to find out if this mummy is the real thing. Coming up.
Ever since it was first introduced, Ford Taurus has made a really big splash. Still does. After all, Taurus has been America's best-selling car 3 years in a row. Maybe it's because of this great deal. Maybe it's because you get so much car. It's loaded with dual airbags, V6 power air conditioning, and more. And then again, maybe it's because of that great paint job. Make a splash of your own. See your local Southern Ford dealer today.
Coming up on the CBS Evening News, he ordered vials of bubonic plague by mail. Wait till you hear what can be done with the stuff. Terrorism experts already know. Eye on America later on the CBS Evening News.
Make time for Time Out at Builders Square, and you'll find hot buys that are just in time for summer. A Rubbermaid 48-quart ice chest is a red-hot $12.49. This attractive hanging basket, brimming with summer color, is a blazing $3.99. A six-pack of 9-inch paint roller covers is a sizzling $2.49. And this Builders Square outdoor extension cord is a hot buy at $9.99. If you've got a hot project, then come in for Time Out Hot Buys, Thursday through Saturday at Builders Square.
We'll get you squared away. Operation 500 continues. Hi, I'm Michelle with Jimmy Bryan Honda, and we're out to sell 500 cars, trucks, and vans this month. We're almost there, too. And here are just a few examples of how we're selling so many cars in the month of May. Civic DXs, $9,900, or only $139 a month. Come on in and get yours. We have at least 25 of these to choose from, but they're going fast. So hurry in today to Operation 500 at Jimmy Bryan Honda, 1792 in Longwood. Just a few minutes from everywhere.
If you plan to call friends and family, no plug or pun intended, in the 813 area code this weekend, you may have some new numbers to deal with. A new 941 area code takes effect Sunday for 13 Florida counties, including Polk, Manatee, Sarasota, and DeSoto. It won't be an overnight change, though, and if you dial the wrong code now, your call will still go through. In March, though, you'll get one of those stern recordings warning you that you have to dial the number with the correct area code or else.
Many payphones have stopped ringing because ringers have been disconnected. Incoming calls are being blocked at your expense. And as 6 on Your Side reporter Wayne Haverly discovered, at least one payphone company appears to be breaking the law.
When a payphone is your only option and you're low on change, the best bet is to dial and ask the person you're calling to call you back at the payphone. But many payphones around town have eliminated that option. Ringers are no longer ringing, and it's costing you money. As a professional home remodeler, John Alvarez spends a lot of time on the road. He relies on pagers and payphones to communicate with clients. Many of John's clients also have pagers, so he calls from payphones and leaves the payphone number.
I'm at 273-9606.
Many times, John doesn't get return calls because some payphone ringers don't ring.
It's disrupting our business. It's basically, whenever I run into a phone like this, it brings business to a standstill.
This East Orlando payphone is a good example. It's ringing here on the cell phone, but the payphone sits quiet.
Calls that aren't placed from here don't make any money, so they just took the ringers out.
The phone is operated by People's Telephone Company in Miami. A company spokesperson says ringers are taken out of some payphones at the request of business owners who say their phones are being used by drug dealers. However, the owner of this sub shop says he's never had any problem with drug dealing at this payphone, and he never made a request to have the ringer disconnected. He says that's something the phone company did on its own. State law says payphones can't block incoming calls unless petitions are filed by property owners to local law enforcement and the Public Service Commission. People's Telephone faxed a list of their phones in Florida that block incoming calls. This phone was not on the list. In fact, we called every property owner on the list. Not one filed a petition. Blocking incoming calls without permission is a violation of state law. A company spokesperson in Miami maintains petitions were filed, but he can't find the records. Now, officials with the Public Service Commission say they'll be spot-checking payphones following our story. They say if they find what we did, the payphone companies will be warned, and then, if they don't fix the ringers, they could be fined or even lose their licenses. By disconnecting ringers, payphone companies stand to make millions at your expense. So if you find a payphone that doesn't ring and there's no sign there that's warning that it doesn't ring, you can file a complaint with the Public Service Commission there in Tallahassee. Back to you.
Wayne, thanks. If you have a consumer question or problem and you need 6 on Your Side, give Wayne a call right here at 521-1269. Our phones do ring, and we answer them.
A familiar sight, some would say too familiar, at Brevard County beaches about to disappear.
But it isn't just nude sunbathers who must comply. Revealing information coming up.
And I'm Pamela Brady. Live in the garden, we'll have your holiday forecast coming up next.
This portion of Channel 6 News is brought to you by your local Jeep and Eagle dealer.
There's no better place to find excitement than Jeep Adventure Days, a fun-filled savings event at your Jeep and Eagle dealer, where for a limited time you can lease a powerful Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo for this low price. Get a versatile Jeep Cherokee for a price this low, with air at no extra charge. Or get a great deal on the fun-loving Jeep Wrangler. But hurry, because while the adventures will go on, this event will not.
See your local Jeep and Eagle dealer. You've waited long enough for the Ross Memorial Day clearance. Thousands of new markdowns throughout the store. The Ross Memorial Day clearance now.
You might think the new Chevy S-Series pickup is safe because it comes with an airbag. You might think the new Chevy S-Series pickup is safe because it comes with anti-lock brakes. And you might think it's safe because Chevy trucks are the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks. But at your Chevy Geo team, we think there's safety in numbers. The new Chevy S-Series from just $10,954 with air. Chevy trucks, like a rock.
If you missed SeaWorld's Wild Arctic, you missed. And a special encore presentation of SeaWorld's Wild Arctic, Saturday at 1 p.m. Bell South Mobility is the exclusive mobile communications provider for Channel 6 News.
This holiday weekend is the last chance for nude sunbathers to bear it all legally on Brevard County beaches. A ban on public nudity goes into effect next week. The Sheriff's Department won't be patrolling the beaches before then. The County Commission passed an ordinance that outlaws public nudity anywhere in the county. It includes skimpy clothing like thongs and G-strings too. It's likely offenders will be given warnings at first and later fined.
Well, it is a beautiful afternoon out there.
Yes, it is.
The beginning of this holiday weekend. But we have a warning for you if you're headed to the beach.
That's right. We have got rip currents to talk about. But first off, we're live in the garden, and I've got to show you. If you saw us last night, we showed you the cucumbers that we have growing here. This is, of course, a special variety. It's a seed that came from my weather spotter, Raymond, over on 36th Street. So I wanted to compare tonight. Here are the seeds from his cucumbers. Here's one of my cucumbers, so I've got a lot of work to do. Anyway, you can join us every Monday and Friday at noon and 5 o'clock to see our garden grow. Coming up on Monday, we're going to be planting cherry tomatoes and sweet potatoes, so we hope you'll join us for that. Yes, a warning for all the folks that are heading over to the beaches this weekend, especially in Brevard and Volusia County. Rip currents, big problem, extra strong right now. At least 96 people had to be pulled from the water over the last 3 days. 3 of them nearly drowned because of rip currents. Now, lifeguards recommend that you swim near one of their stands. If you get caught in a rip current, swim parallel to the shore until you break free of its pull. Be extra careful this weekend because, again, we continue to see those rescues. Take a look at the highs and lows across Central Florida this afternoon. It's hot out there, but at least there is a breeze. 91 the high in Orlando. The average high for this day is about 89. 86 in Melbourne, 86 in Daytona Beach, 91 in Ocala. Ted is our weather spotter tonight from Grand Island, with a high temperature of 92 and a morning low of 70. Outside right now in Orlando, the temperature is 85 degrees. It's 89 in Ocala. Temperatures across the state right now. As you can see, we move ahead with the maps. The temperature is 84 down at Key West, 88 in Fort Myers and Tampa, 90 still up in Tallahassee. And the winds, the breeze helping out a little bit out of the east-northeast at 12 in Orlando and out of the east at 11 in Melbourne. Here is the satellite picture to show you just a few clouds in and around Central Florida. And that's basically what you're going to see for the weekend. The big national picture as we fly out even further will show us what's going on in terms of a storm system in the central part of the nation that continues to linger, cause rain, major problem with flooding in parts of southwestern Illinois and Missouri. In fact, the lightning striker tonight will show you an incredible amount of strikes. We're talking about 10,000 strikes across the country, really from the southeast to the Central Plains states out over into the west. Okay, the pollen count for today for Central Florida is terrific. In fact, everything is coming in at light or very light except for grass and mold, which are moderate. Tonight, mostly fair skies, upper 60s to right about 70 for the low. Tomorrow, lots of sunshine for your Saturday. We do have about a 30% chance for scattered thunderstorms in the afternoon. The high, just like today, will be 90. The sun index for tomorrow should be 8. That's high. Use the sunblock tomorrow. And the marine forecast for lots of folks heading out. Winds out of the southeast at 10 to 15 knots. A moderate chop on the waters. Water temperature is nice, but again, be warned of those rip currents. Water temperature is 80 degrees. Here's your 5-day outlook. Temperatures will stay a little bit above normal over the next couple of days, especially on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So, David, have a great holiday weekend.
I will do that, Pamela. Hey, you filled up your tank lately? Have you noticed some numbers you don't ordinarily see on there? Yikes. Gas prices here in the Sunshine State have reached a 5-year high. Florida's AAA took a survey just a few weeks ago. Average price for a gallon of regular unleaded, $1.20. In the latest survey, the price jumped 3 cents up to $1.23. Experts blame the hike on demand. It's usual with the Memorial Day weekend upon us.
Is it the real thing?
Coming up, local doctors try to unwrap the possible secrets of this mummy. And back home in Indiana,
I'm Mike Storms, live in Indianapolis. The Magic's road to the NBA Finals runs right down these brick streets here in Indy. We'll have the story when we come back.
On the next Inside Edition.
We will never see anyone as wealthy as Doris.
When this heiress died, the butler controlled her billions, but now a judge took the money away, and friends want a closer look at her last days.
This woman did not die of natural causes.
Wait until you see where this investigation leads. Plus, move over, Fabio. There's a new hunk in town.
If I look sexy on the stage, it's not because I'm trying.
A sexy circus star leaves them breathless on Inside Edition.
Tonight at 7 on WCPX.
America's largest auto manufacturer's tent event comes to Central Florida, the giant GM tent event. GM dealers in the Central Florida area are holding a tent event at their dealerships. 5,000 GM cars, trucks, and vans at tent event values. Buick, Chevys, Geos, GMC trucks, Oldsmobiles, and Pontiacs. GMAC leases with no down and no deposits. Only America's largest auto manufacturer could do it. Hurry, the giant GM tent event ends Memorial Day.
What's going on under all those great coats at Burlington Coat Factory? Top name menswear at 40 to 60% below department store prices. Famous label cotton dress shirts just $12.99. Pure silk ties, 2 for $18. Fine quality knit shirts only $12.99. Wrinkle-free cotton slacks $16.99. And famous label swimwear that'll make quite a splash for just $14.95. So for great menswear, remember, Burlington Coat Factory, we're more than great coats.
Some people follow the crowd. Others march to the beat of a different drum. That's why they drive a GMC truck, because they're confident the truck experts will deliver a smooth ride, solid feel, and, of course, some very special incentives and option packages. So if you consider yourself a free spirit, see your GMC truck dealer. And this Memorial Day, follow your true calling. And don't miss the GM Tent event, now at your Central Florida GMC truck dealers.
The Magic have set the playoff pace so far. After 2 wins here in Orlando, the series now bounces up to Indiana for the next 2 games. Mike Storms joins us back home again in Indiana.
Well, you said bounces up to Indiana. The way things are going around here, I think it's going to have to roar back up here to Indianapolis. This is a huge weekend here. 2 basketball games, one tomorrow and one on Monday. They'll put about 16,000, more than 16,000 in Market Square Arena for that. Then sandwiched in between the Indianapolis 500, more than 4,000 fans will be out at the Speedway watching that race on Sunday. But everybody here is hoping this is going to be a big weekend for their Indiana Pacers. They are in a must-win situation, down 2 games to none. But let's face it, so far, hey, it's been all magic. Well, as the saying goes, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. Looking ahead to Game 3 shouldn't be that difficult for the Magic. They're in control, 2 games to none in the best-of-7 series. So the pressure is really on the Pacers.
It's never easy going to that place. They have one of the best fans in the NBA. And going to that building, we know it's going to be a dogfight. And it's like anybody on their home court, they step their games up, and we just have to step our game up again.
Dennis Scott certainly has been a spark for the Magic in the past 2 games. First, digging the Magic out of a 17-point first-quarter deficit in Game 1. Then making sure the Magic stayed out in front most of Game 2. And there's a reason why Dennis has been getting so many open shots. Shaquille O'Neal.
Shaquille is our man. He's our MVP, from the entire season, and we have to go to him. We can't worry about, his free throw shooting or teams trying to foul him.
But this series certainly isn't over. Both the Magic and Pacers realize that, and a Pacer win tomorrow would give them confidence to make this series a long one. On the other hand, if the Magic win another big game on the road like they did in Boston and Chicago, they might just be ready for the West's best.
I don't think we've ever gotten out of the gates great up there. And once they get out, they try to go ahead and run the nail right into the coffin. And that's something that we can't allow them to do. We have to stay into the game, into the last few seconds of the game or into the 4th quarter and try to, squeeze one out.
And I hope the Magic arrive with nails in their equipment bags. And I understand I said 4,000 at the Speedway. It's more like 400,000 will be here on Sunday for the race. Live from Indianapolis, I'm Mike Storms. Back to you, David and Mary.
Thanks so much.
A mummy believed to be thousands of years old got a trip to the doctors today.
And it wasn't for an annual checkup. Details coming up.
Hey everybody, I'm Michelle with Jimmy Bryan Honda, where the weather's getting warmer and the deals are getting hotter. Let me tell you about just a few of them right now. These gorgeous Civic DXs, you can get one for $9,900 or only $139 a month. What a terrific payment, terrific price. So come see us at Jimmy Bryan Honda. We're going to make you happy with a great selection of Civic DXs, factory equipped, 25 of them to choose from. At Jimmy Bryan Honda this month, give us a call or come see us at 1792 in Longwood, just a few minutes from everywhere.
It's finally here, our biggest savings event of the year, the Memorial Day sale at Modern Age. You'll find incredible store-wide savings, all backed by Modern Age's customer satisfaction guarantee. Plus, you can take advantage of our exceptional credit plan with no payments, no interest for 1 full year. You'll also find many one-of-a-kind items and other special purchases to brighten your home. Don't miss our biggest savings event of the year. Don't miss the Memorial Day sale through Monday, only at Modern Age.
The final days of our anniversary sale this Memorial weekend, we're still pricing new Tacoma Extra Cabs at only $12,966. Call 298-4500, Toyota of Orlando.
Hi, I'm Trace Gallagher with a few safety tips for this summer. Always swim with a buddy. Always stretch before swimming to avoid cramps. Never dive into water where you can't see the bottom. And have a fun and healthy summer.
These tips have been sponsored by Channel 6 and Wet n Wild.
Tonight on The Late Show with David Letterman, actress Sarah Jessica Parker, and rock group Elastica.
Ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. Try it for a week, then decide. Tonight here on Channel 6 News at 11, what happened immediately after President Kennedy was assassinated? Today, released for the first time, the thoughts of Jacqueline Kennedy at the moment her husband was shot nearly 35 years ago. That's tonight at 11.
The mummy is in Central Florida, but is it a fake or is it real? That question was put to the doctors at Osceola Regional Hospital in Kissimmee this afternoon. X-rays of the mummy were taken. They proved inconclusive, but other tests indicated it's real. Back in the 1920s, the mummy was in a West Coast theater. Patrons would ask it questions and it would answer. It will make an appearance at a magician's convention in town this weekend.
Somebody probably said, are you flossing? Thank you for watching, and thank you for making Channel 6 your choice for news.
See you at 11.
It's the final days of our anniversary sale and our biggest sales event of the year here at Toyota.